What's up, Airsofters? Rick from Reaper 6 Airsoft here, coming at you guys with a different kind of video today with a different setup. I'm using my phone and microphone all synced up through new software, so let me know if you think all this works together. But today, I'm actually going to be doing a different kind of video. It's going to be a bit of kind of like a roast my kit style, but of old pictures of me from 2008 all the way through till I think about 2014. Times were different back then. I was much cringier. And if you want to see the most cringe picture I could find, hang out until the end of the video. Let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so the first picture that I could find, this one right here, this is a picture of me, and I'm sorry for how pixelated it is. This was back in 2010. The cameras were not as good back then. This was high quality back then, for Airsoft especially. But this was at a game called Operation Shattered Union in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Looks like I'm wearing a drop leg holster with no pistol in it for some reason. Knee pads, these were actually really good knee pads. I remember these. I think they're roofing knee pads. They never slipped and they didn't bother me all that much. Looks like I have a rubber knife back here for some reason, even though melee kills were not allowed back then. I guess I just wanted to look cool. And then I had really badly woven in green pouches on a black Condor plate carrier. I know these were all double stacked, each with a 350 round high cap magazine. All of them full. I never used a full magazine, not that I remember. I don't think I had to change and I don't think I had to reload the entire game. Looks like I had a Mad Bull 40mm grenade launcher on here. We didn't have tag-ins back then or launchables. And all we have were shower shells. And it doesn't look like I had any shower shells on my person. So that was kind of pointless. Got a 4X adjustable zoom scope here for some reason. And it looks like I had lost the butt plate to my stock, so I was duct taping it, I guess. Yep, this was peak me in 2000. Oh, is this 2010? Yes, it was 2010. Oh, and I forgot the bike helmet from the dollar store because I was trying to go for like a Black Hawk Down, like Delta Force look, but with my own spin on it. Okay, so next up. So this is a picture at, I think this was a Paintball Sportsland a long time ago. Looks like I tried to get different knee pads to look more like Marine Corps-ish. Those just look uncomfortable on here. And it looks like I was wearing an Eagle Industries vest. I think this one had soft armor, and you can see this bulge back here where I kept putting my bladder into that plate pouch in the back just because I thought that's what went there, I suppose. Typical okay loadout, I guess. We'll go more into the gun in one of the next pictures. But I'm pretty sure in this picture I was supposed to be wearing a full face mask, but I just didn't. I would not advocate doing that now, but I just didn't feel like wearing one, I suppose. But I still had my full CLI Pro, of course. Okay, same kit, different angle, and you get a better look at the gun. So again, this is a KWA. This was, I think, this was the M16 version that I put an M4 upper on. But I didn't have the ability to change out the stock back then because I didn't have the right tools, and I had absolutely no money. I was completely broke. But before we get into it, fun fact, this do-rag here that I'm wearing, I still have it, and I know I do because of this one spot that didn't get dyed. I still have that somewhere in my house. So let's look at the gun. Again, KWA. Fun fact about this, I actually painted it tan, but with like sandy texture paint. And I named the gun Sandy, and it exfoliated the crap out of my face. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea, but I did. Another fun thing to point out here, I don't know why I did it. Well, I do, but it still looks a little silly. This red stuff in my camelback right here in this bladder line. Yeah, I guess I thought it was a good idea to just put Gatorade in there rather than just water. I don't know. I was like 18, 19. I don't know. Let's see what else. Oh, my friend's ESS style goggles. Maybe they are ESS goggles, but he had actually modded these computer fans to get rid of the fog. This is before X-Fog. This was before this was a common practice. My friend was way ahead of his time. I wish I had been that savvy to do that. I could probably put something like that together now if I tried. But wearing big goggles like that is kind of outdated in Airsoft, in my opinion. Okay, moving on. You guys will love this one. This is Rick when he was, 16, 17 maybe? Let's go ahead and start from the top. So first I had this really weird Under Armour cap I would wear because I had really long red hair. Like hair, you can see a little bit of it back here, but like hair down to like my shoulders long in high school. Bro, I don't know. And I would wear this to try to keep it all contained so it wouldn't be all over the place. And then it looks like I was not wearing full seal glasses, but this was at a private field. This is at my friend's property out in Maryland. We would go out here just about every weekend. Let's see, we got the tiger stripe, which I would still wear to this day. That tiger stripe looked really good. The only thing I would add is a raid mod to it and then get some patches on there. But, you know, this was, 2007 or 2008 or something. And then I've got an Echo 1 G36C, which I really did like. That was my go-to when I was a kid. They only had high caps, at least the only ones I could find were high caps, the only extra mags. And it looks like I didn't know what trigger discipline was. Well, what do you want from me? And it looks like I was still wearing that, or before I was wearing that same drop leg with no pistol. That seemed to be an ongoing theme when I was younger. So, same kit again. I was broke and could really only afford one kind of kit. Starting at the top, this is my skateboard helmet that I got from Ollie's Outlet. I just went looking for one because my friend had one. And I looked around for a cheap one and found this one right on the shelf. And it was perfect. I wish I still had it because I would do something cool with it. It just worked out really well. Clearly it was made for goggles. So it was cool. I liked it. Going down, I had this really bad comm setup that went into a Walmart radio. Not everybody had a Baofeng back in the day. This is what we had. The game has evolved. We are spoiled now with all the cool toys we've got. And it looks like this was the issued set of Marpat my friend had gotten me with some Velcro we had modded onto it really poorly. That we thought we were cool. We weren't. It also looks like I have some really poorly woven Molly here on the back panel that had absolutely nothing in this little backpack, but it looked cool, I guess. And it looks like here I'm just single stacking magazines, which is great, better than the other one. And for some reason, I have a dump pouch on my right side, even though I had one on my left side. But as you can see, like, I wasn't the only one with a Protec skateboard helmet. Looks like, see my friend Mike here in the background. I had one. My other friend John here had one as well. It was kind of our thing. But at least those guys had painted theirs. I don't know. I thought mine looked cool. The black-green combo. I still think it looks kind of cool. So now, this picture. So I remember when this picture was taken. This was the same event as the last picture. This was Operation Nuclear Dawn in 2010 at SOG's Airsoft Field. SOG was a private team. I don't believe they exist anymore. This picture, I still think looks pretty cool, honestly. I remember, though, when this was taken, because I saw that camera guy, and I remember, like, I'm going to look cool. I'm going to get behind my gun. I'm going to look like a badass. And then I have this fluff here that... This little bit of fluff because a friend of mine that I was living with at the time, they for whatever reason they gutted a stuffed animal and the fluff went everywhere and it just showed up at random and there it was on my gear. But yeah, so you can see a little bit more of my kit here. You can see that I have the whole belt set up. I have a dump pouch, which I still wear that type today. But what I don't wear is anything on my legs because that's a little weird. I mean, even if I were to wear something like a panel like that, it'd be much higher up. But again, I was really going for the whole black-green, contrast combo there. It looks pretty cool. Like I said, this pick goes pretty hard even all these years later. I had 2 magazines on my leg, which I do think I actually used those to reload at some point. I think it was on a knee and just grabbed them. But overall, yeah, this picture looks pretty good. I might do a similar version, more modern. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to recreate this kit, but with more modern stuff, because I actually think that'd be kind of fun. All right, and then now here's me just being a silly goober. All right, same kit, same event. Don't know why I jumped in the water, but I just thought it would be cool. I actually remember just being like, oh, I should go in that. It's so badass. Who knows? One thing I want to point out with my gun, actually 2 things. One, why am I on full auto? I think I was just like full auto like all the time back in the day because I was one of those airsofters. And my vertical grip is really far back. I mean, I might as well just grab the magwell. Like, I know you've heard me say I don't like to be like close in with my guns, but I guess back in the day I did. And Yeah, my back panel is completely unzipped. Yeah, I don't know why I was in the water. All right, now this picture I can tell you with absolute certainty was taken in 2009. This was taken in Southern Maryland at a private field. I didn't go to a lot of public fields when I was younger. For us, Airsoft was more, it was more of team versus team. So we had a team up north, we had a team in the south, actually a couple teams down in the south. And then we'd all kind of just get together and pummel each other. And that's exactly what we were doing here. You could see I had the very new player cross draw vest with all the, straps hanging off here and, screaming, please tape me, I'm flopping all over. Then we had the helmet. This is a surplus store buy. It's just a cheap Chinese helmet, but with really cushy padding that absorbed all the sweat and just made it miserable to wear, but I did it anyway. And then I had my Airsoft mask that I picked up from Walmart. It was actually branded as an Airsoft mask. It was thinner. Honestly, not a bad mask. Still would be decent to wear today, even though everybody wears, shooting glasses. I personally wear either Oakley M-frames or ESS crossbows. I'd still wear that again. And then once again, a G36C. This one was not the one that was pictured in the other photo. This one here is my friend's. This is the JG version, which I'm pretty sure was the exact same thing. And he painted his. I didn't want to paint mine because back in the day I was a bit of a weenie about it. Clearly, I paint my guns now. I don't have a problem with it. But, yep, no, that G36, both of them were really solid. I was shooting out of a window. We had put that door right up against that window and left about like a 7 or 8 inch long crack so we could shoot out of. And I think, if I remember correctly, I was looking down a road. All right, so now we can move into something a little bit more modern day. I say modern day, but this was from 2012. This was my second big Airsoft game. This was Operation Red Stormies 2, Red Stormies 1, which was my first Lion Claws game ever. And this was really, really a cool kit. This was an Eagle Industries SPC scalable plate carrier that a friend of mine had gotten me. It had soft armor. I think I paid out the wazoo for it too. And then I have a tactical assault panel on here. This was, I'm wearing a TAP well before they became popular. The only thing I didn't do was put, the retention straps over it, so my magazines kind of fell out everywhere. Also, I had a tourniquet on here. I'll be honest, I didn't know what a tourniquet was. I just thought it looked cool. So I just threw it on there. Came off pretty quick because it's just held on by a rubber band. And, I had going up, I had this Mitch 2001 helmet. I wish I still had it, but I sold it. I painted it real nice with 3 shades of green and tans and lines. It looked really, really nice. And I put this, it was all like custom done. And then I actually had put this lower, the mesh lower right up here. It actually clipped into the sides of the arc rails so I could just throw it down over my face if I needed to. Okay, we're not done with the cringe yet. Back to the Tiger Stripe and back to my friend's private field. So you can see, as I said, I had that Under Armour cap thing. You see some of my red hair back here that I just couldn't contain. This was, I remember taking this picture. Actually, we had mags in, but they were unloaded. I hope everyone had done it. Knowing some of the people I played with back in the day, it's questionable. Mine was unloaded. I know that for a fact. Okay, so green cross draw vest, same helmet. My friend's M14, I was way too poor to afford that. That was like a nice classic Army M14 with a red dot he put on there. Red gloves because, nothing screams hardcore airsoft operator like red fingerless gloves that you get from the hardware store. And then it looks like, once again, I have that same holster without a pistol. All right, now this one was pretty fun. So this is the same kit I always wore, but I actually remember getting this picture taken again. Man, this is taking me back. Trip down memory lane here for real. So this was my crew back in the day. This was my childhood best friend, Alex. I think he was just using, I think it's an Echo 1 M4. This is a Cybergun Famis my friend Ben's using. And then I had bought, this is like right after I had bought this Tiger Stripe camo from the local surplus store. I say local, but it was like 45 minutes away. And I was loving everything Tiger Stripe. It was like, that was my thing. And in fairness, all these years later, Tiger Stripe is still on. I might have a pistol in here, I can't tell. It was probably a clear Crossman C11. Those things were actually surprisingly good for the time. All right, so here we go with another one. we decided to take a break halfway through the day to take some cool guy pictures because we had just joined up on some Airsoft forum and wanted to look cool, I guess. So I realized at some point that scrim was a good idea before I knew what scrim was. And I had gotten this, it's really hard to see in this old picture, but I had actually gotten this like fish netting and put it over the top in some burlap. It was nice. It felt like I was wearing a bird's nest, but hid me really well. I think this is my same Airsoft mask that I wore before, and this is the exact same kit minus the tiger stripe. I had bought this BDU at a surplus store and looks like I had failed to remove the Air Force rank. Super cringe. My bad. Didn't know any better back then. And look at that. Oh my goodness. It looks like I finally have a pistol in my pistol holster. And I believe this was an Aftermath AK, stubby AK. Aftermath Airsoft actually used to sponsor us way back in the day, which was great because we were a bunch of broke teenagers trying to play Airsoft and couldn't afford the guns. So they came in clutch and provided us with some really cool stuff. So, not a gameplay picture. This was my kit right after I got out of basic training and got my own apartment. I still remember this ugly carpet. This is a shellback Banshee, which I still have right over there off camera, but it doesn't quite look like this. It's got 2 fast mags, it looks like. I don't know why I wanted a fast mag instead of a regular mag pouch, which would have accomplished the same thing. And my reload, frankly, wasn't going to be all that much faster, so it wouldn't really matter. Looks like I had a 1-point sling pushed into here, married into it. I had a radio pouch right down here with, I think I had my Wuxon radio before I had a Baofeng. I don't know why I had to be different. And it looks like I have a Thunder Bee and a Kydex banger pouch right back here. It was the style at the time to have those. I still have that patch at my house somewhere. It's either over there on my wall or over here somewhere. And this is what I would wear when I didn't want to have all that extra crap, didn't want to have a plate carrier. This was my Tag Gladiator chest rig, I think is what it was. I think. This would allow me to have as many mags as I wanted, integrated, and I don't know why I added more on the top. It looks like I had a flashbang pouch here, but I never have any smokes or anything to put in it. And here's a picture of me wearing it. Let's see if you guys can spot where I did something stupid. We'll start at the top. Put it in the comments below if you find it before I say it. So starting at the top, looks like I had my Contour Roam, which is still around my house somewhere abouts. This was my Mitch 2001 helmet, the really high cut one. I think I still have that shell around my house somewhere. And then I've got, it looks like my goggle fan here, it was like a Cyclone action fan, again, before X-Fogs were a thing. I would have all that on the back of my helmet. There was a little switch I could click and it would turn the fan on and it would defog my goggles. It's great. I have my rank on my shoulder. Cringe, not my rank anymore, but ew. Looks like I was wearing my Oakley gloves. Oh, look, there it is. You're out of time. I dropped my mag and didn't know it because I built this gun like a goober. And then also right here on my right-hand side, right under my elbow, that pouch should look a little bit familiar because I just talked about it in my last video. That is the same pouch that I carry my Odin in today. All right, now this picture probably should have been a little bit earlier because it was before I was in the Army. This is the same kit I wore before, except for some reason I thought bigger, beefier gear was better quality. No. So for whatever reason, I decided to get myself a bigger, beefier battle belt. And here it is. It's kind of hard to see, but this is a big, thick Condor belt. I've got a matte pouch on here. Why? I don't know. I think I just wanted it because of the Velcro. And I put a tan pouch on the back here. But I was smart enough to ditch the helmet this time at this field and just wear a ball cap. So kind of a cool picture. Now looking at it, back then I thought this was one of my coolest pictures ever, but it's just blurry. This was Operation Red Storm East 2. And this was like, I think April of 2012? No, 2013. So same helmet I was wearing in the last picture with my friend's PVS 14s that he had let me borrow for the game. And then here you can see my Banshee plate carrier. I'd stopped wearing my call sign and started wearing my last name on my kit because I'd just been wearing that for, all that time at basic. I was a very typical high-speed weirdo private. It's okay. I know what I was. I accept it. And this gun here was actually my friend's Polar Star. This was back when Polar Stars were like the best of the best, and before anybody knew what Jewel Creep was. I remember that impact. That was a brutal game because nobody understood, and damn it, did that hurt. I'm so glad we understand what Jewel Creep is now. Yep, so I'd gotten all the crap off my legs, which was smart. I'd put a holster up on my hip. That's okay. And it looks like I had half a brain because I was only wearing one knee pad. Overall, like this was pretty cool. This is kind of like the look I was going for after that, and still kind of do to a point. This was like the GMR era. I didn't really want to look like them, but everyone kind of did. And if you've hung in there all the way to the end, we have the cringiest picture that I could find at the time. It's embarrassing to put this up here, but here we are for you guys. So let's start at the top, shall we? First, I'll talk about the elephant in the room. The mesh goggles. Never, ever, ever wear mesh goggles playing Airsoft. Please don't. Please, please don't. I did this back in the day because no one knew that. And I didn't want to fog. I would never do it today. It looks like I also had my Marpat do-rag with a winter balaclava over it for some reason. At least it looks like a fleece balaclava. A Marpat bandana. And then I had this Evike vest that looked really, really cool on the website. And yeah, okay. But on me, it didn't. It looked kind of weird. And yeah, it looks like I had a Punisher skull patch here because, you know, nothing screams badass like a Punisher skull. And then we get into the gun I'm holding. The gun is an Echo 1 AK, which was awesome. See, the problem here is, though, one, I didn't know what trigger discipline was because, see right here, booger hook on the bang switch. And then it looks like I had a sniper scope. For what? Like, with it all the way up there, like, and it just made it front heavy, too. And then I was wearing this, cheap true spec Marpat here that faded. And yeah, so overall, I thought I looked super badass, but I looked like such a dweeb. But that's okay. We all had that moment in Airsoft. Well, guys, those were the 19 pictures that I could find back when I was playing Airsoft when I was much, much younger. If you guys liked it, please let me know. If you want to see more cringy videos like that, maybe some cringe pictures, some old school gameplay, please let me know. And depending on how this video does, I may do more of these. If you guys want to support the channel, go to Reaper6airsoft.com, pick up a patch, pick up a shirt. I do drop ship shirts and hoodies now. And thank you guys again for being here. I'll see you guys in the next video. Reaper6 out.